You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next, the August 26, 2024 meeting of the LaPorte County Council. You can get more information for this meeting by going to www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening. We're going to call the LaPorte County Council regular meeting at 6 p.m. on August 26, 2024 to order. And I'd like a moment of silence after the Pledge of Allegiance for former 911 Director Brett Solar, who passed away. So if everybody please stand for the pledge. We'll let Mr. Cunningham. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Auditor. Councilman Keel. Present. Councilman Yagowski.
Present.
Councilman Mullenhour.
Present.
Councilman Cunningham. Present. Councilman Rosenbaum.
Present.
Councilman Novak.
Present.
And Councilman Karanka.
Present.
All seven.
Thank you. Approval of the August 26th agenda for tonight, Mr. Karanka.
I'd like to make a motion to approve with the following change. Under new business, we're going to add LaPorte County Highway approval to hire administrative assistant.
Where are you going to put that?
Let's call
The
that
top. We'll call
number
that
one
F.
F.
F, highway.
It's not on the new one.
I would also, is that the only thing you have?
That is the only one.
The other item that I would like to see us, and I spoke with Mr. Yagowski about this and Adam about
Do we
this,
have to do all, this whole entire list?
is under old business, is pulling off the enterprise, and then we're looking at maybe having a 15-minute part of our workshop before our next meeting. So, any other corrections or additions or?
Mr. President, I want to make sure I understand this. I've got about 3 pages of red changes on the new agenda. We're not correcting these for the people in the public.
They are. They should have. They all have the same thing as you have. I made sure that they had what we had.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Approval of the July 22nd meetings. Minutes.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Karanka.
Second, Mr. President.
Second by Mr. Yagowski. Anybody, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
I'm abstaining because I was not here. I was
Okay.
not present.
Public comment. Public comment is now open. Anybody from the public would like to speak? Good evening.
Good evening, Council. This is Rob Hart speaking. I am the President and CEO of NWI Development Group, address 100 Anchor Road, Michigan City. Just wanted to come tonight and just introduce myself to the Council. I am a real estate developer. I've been working with your economic development team with Carlton, Mike and Matt, and they encouraged me to just come and say hi. I have one project in the county that I'm actively developing. It's called Avantera. It's off of Fail Road, kind of north of 20, south of the South Shore Railroad. Bought it about 4 years ago. We've had a lot of tremendous success with it. We have 2 homes under construction in there. We have about 8 sales. It's a 22-lot subdivision, which was formerly known as Avant Gardens, and we've rebranded it to Avantera. We just have a lot of other development activities. Our company's based in Michigan City. If anybody reads the Northwest Times, you may have seen one of our projects on the cover this morning. We're the developers of the Ben Calumet building in Hammond. So between sort of LaPorte County and Hammond, we've got all of NWI covered. And just want to tell you guys, it's really exciting to have an opportunity to do business in LaPorte County, and we're looking forward to bringing projects forward with all the activity going on here. So
Thank you.
that's it. If anybody, if it's okay if I leave a couple of the brochures for the project, also have a couple beverage coolers with the thing, if I'm not allowed to leave those, or can I leave the brochures?
I'd have
or-
to ask legal counsel if that's allowed. Maybe
I'll
outside.
leave them in the back. All right, guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Anybody else from the public? Anybody on Zoom? Anybody on Zoom? Anybody else from the public? All right. Public comment is now closed. Moving on. Department head reports. Department heads.
Good evening, gentlemen. Monique Thomas, HR Director. I just want to invite you guys out to our food truck event that will be September the 19th here at LaPorte and September the 20th in Michigan City. Our first food truck event was real successful. It was really nice, so we're going to do it again for our employees. So you guys come on out. It's from 11 to 2:30, and it's for everyone, the public. So bring your families, bring your friends, and we'll just have a good time.
19th and 20th.
The 19th here in LaPorte and the 20th in Michigan City.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other department heads? Good evening.
Hello. Heather Stevens, clerk. I learned a little lesson this year. I applied for a grant with the Secretary of State's office for some election equipment that we really couldn't otherwise purchase. I have been awarded the grant. However, I have to spend the money and then they reimburse us. So Councilman Novak did inform me that I should have come when I was applying for the grant to get permission to spend, and so that I wouldn't be in this position right now, but here we are. Next week, the Secretary of State will be coming with the big ceremonial check, and that'll be a good time. So while I'm excited for the grant, I need the funds. So,
How much is the grant?
20.
just under 20,000. Yeah.
Do you have money in your budget that you could spend and then get reimbursed for?
I say yes.
Budget money?
Rhonda
No?
says I can't do that. So,
No, however, what I explained to her is because we're on the learning curve this year, we have made concessions where it's like, okay, as long as you're on the agenda, knowing that the council probably won't say, no, you can't spend public money to get it back. Yes, so as long as you don't say no,
So
then
you're
she
asking
should be
for a
good.
motion of support?
yes, please.
Mr. President, make a motion of support.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski, second by Mr. Rosenbaum. Any
Quick
other
discussion.
questions? Quick?
What do you have intended, what is this intended for?
So, because we have to, well, now that we're a vote center county, the one thing that I heard was that people were a little confused about where to go vote. I ordered the little vote here signs, but they just kind of blended in with all of the yard signs, but they were inexpensive. So I did the big flag signs that say vote here. They're great. And I don't know if they're 9 or 12 feet tall, but these should stand out for sure. And because we're a vote center county and we have to deliver so much equipment now, I ordered these very nice heavy-duty bags. They are on all-weather wheels so that as we're delivering and picking up equipment, we can do it more efficiently and everything will stay nice and organized.
Great.
That's all I needed.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing the picture.
Yep. Any other department heads?
Thank you.
Oh, I know what that is. I know what that is.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Commissioner Connie Grammarosa, and I'm coming up here with the clerk because we have an issue. As you all know, that she received a whole bunch of boxes, and the boxes are for the voting machines, and so she's in dire need of extra space. In order to give her extra space, we do have some space in Michigan City. The problem that we're having with the Michigan City space is that it has to be secured. We would have to be able to close it up, make sure that only she has access to the space. So if you look through the proposal here, it actually gives you where we're going to have to close up like 4 doors. We have to make sure that we have a bathroom for her. Within that space, we would actually have a permanent early voting location for her. That space would also need to be enclosed and separated. And when it comes to like the painting, we're going to try to get something on the windows. We're going to try to do a lot of that work by ourselves and through maintenance. But there are some other things that we need that it's detrimental. That if we don't get these things, we're not going to be able to move her into this space. So the only thing that was missing from here is 2 cameras. We do need a camera on the front door, and we need a camera on the back door. And so there's where Heather came up with a good solution.
Yeah, so I'm perfectly comfortable to just go with like a doorbell camera that can then be connected to my county phone. And that way, if something ever happens, we have some kind of video for that. And it will alert if somebody's in there in the middle of the night who shouldn't be there. So that was an easy fix.
Definitely.
I can purchase those.
Mr. Yagowski.
So, again, nobody mentioned the fact that we were possibly selling that 8th Street in the first place. So a lot of counties that I know, Porter County especially, they lease space during the voting time of it. I'm not saying we can't put that somewhere, but we could put the building up for sale and use the money and take advantage of that part of it too.
I just want to point out, one of the leading factors for 8th Street was she has 320 of these 2-foot by 3-foot, 40 inches high cases that, are they still sitting over
They're
there?
literally bigger than me. I mean, they literally come up to my chest.
That they have to have access to and store.
And they're as wide as me, and, probably about a good, 18 to 24 inches in width. So these aren't small. And when you're looking at her staff, we can't put those up on shelves because the box itself is going to contain 2 pieces of equipment within it. So we actually need the floor space.
And how much do they want?
And I understand what you're saying about going ahead and getting it rental someplace else to just for storage. But here's the problem. We also have, and currently they don't know where they're going, but adult protective services. So we're going to take another space and we're going to have adult protective services inside that building. So and right now when we're also looking at doing the windows in the complex, we also need space where we may have to take some people out of here while we're getting the window project done. I understand what you want to sell that building. We paid $642,000 for that building. I'm not quite sure if we'll be able to get that money back. But when we had our crisis with the flood situation, we had some place where we could set other individuals up.
Commissioner, I agree 100%. So what we did is we did them a favor because they had offered us rent money to put units out there. We could have done what they wanted to do, but we decided to use the building. I have no problem with it, but you guys are now you're going to build it or come. We have space in Porter County. We don't need to do that. We don't need this extra space. We need to go and be frugal about what we have right now.
Well, we are being frugal because the fact that we already own the building, and what you're asking me to do is go out and take her machines.
I didn't ask you to do nothing. What I'm asking you to do is let's do this. Just don't jump ahead of everything. Let's go and find out what the property's worth, get an appraisal on it, and see what we can do, what the alternatives are. Right now, it's just build, they will come, build, they will come. That's all this philosophy is. It's not a good philosophy.
So the one thing, and we've been working very close on this issue, is you gotta find a place to store these 320
Okay,
voting
let's look.
machines that cannot be stacked and they cannot be put on shelves.
Let's
So,
look.
well, and
Climate
here's the thing.
control.
Here's
Yeah,
the thing.
climate controlled and.
We've been doing it. We've been doing it all summer long, knowing that they're coming. That's why some are sitting here and some are over there.
I've been talking about this for
is-
3 years.
This isn't they just pulled this one out of the air.
No, when we built Michigan City, we overcapacitized the Michigan City. We had space available, but everybody's got their own office, everybody's got their own lunchrooms, everybody's got their own stuff. I get that. So I'm not saying that we don't have, but we're not even trying to look at it now. I'm sorry, we have.
For storage for these machines, we've looked. That's all I'm telling you. Then you're free to.
I'm also
I have
free
to
that
say
I would have
that-
liked to have known that, not your part. I'm not talking about this building. We had solar and solar before. We didn't do them a favor. The insurance company, we went there. We could have put modules out there and we could have had storage and we could have done, we went, not for your stuff. I'm talking about the county government.
No, I understand that.
So we-
I just, from my point of view, we are going into September, and early voting starts in October, and I have 320 machines scattered right now
I know,
that
but
need to get programmed.
this is August and never come to us. This is first to come to us.
So-
First I heard about it. First
So-
I didn't know about it for August. First I heard about it.
Because there was we were trying to find a location for these. I think that, and you got to take off the thing that when you said we found a permanent location for early voting. I would remove the permanent word and just say we found a location for early voting this year, and then we need to look at the plans and everything else. But I think we're getting very late in the year to change the location. But, well,
Yeah, I think so too.
well, last early voting, in spring, they went to Park School. And I personally think it was a disaster, but.
I wasn't. It's a very nice school. Everybody was wonderful,
But the
but the
parking,
public
there's
was
no
very
parking,
confused.
Nothing, right.
Well, they were confused anyway. I mean, people that, I've been going to Edgewood for 45, 50 years. People around the whole area were confused. This was a different thing. It's not
Yeah.
because of Park School.
No.
It's because there was a whole lot of reasons for it to be it.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that
Yeah,
part.
we've been at 8th and Wabash for years.
Understand.
Yeah, quite a while.
So if somebody wants to come up with a location to store these 320 cases permanently in a climate controlled that they only have access to,
And here's the thing, she still has to program these. So
Yes.
she still has to get a vendor in here, she still has to do all the programming. We've got to get them out of the small boxes into the big boxes. There's a lot of work ahead of us. And we have to get this all done within, a time limit.
A month.
And then we also have to have maintenance help us do this.
So I was asking is that we have a building right now, which is 8th Street. Right now, we can use it till we can come up with a better idea instead of just August telling me this. It's all secure now. Lock every door. Hang on a second. Nobody else is going to use that place. It's all secure. So lock every door, and it's climate controlled, and let's use it till we get ourselves to next year so we can figure out what we're going to do. And let's just don't go say it's August now and it's an emergency all of a sudden.
If this work gets done, is this going to be done mostly by maintenance, and then this is material that's
this part here is
23,000?
outsourced. This part
This
is
is all
outsourced.
outsourced.
Oh, is it? Okay.
The outsourced work, will it be bid out?
I didn't hear him.
Will
Will
it
it
be
be
now,
bid?
I think is what he said.
Yes.
No, will it be?
Will it be bid out?
Oh, no, it will not be bid out. It's for $23,000. We're trying to get a quick solution to hurry up and get this done so that we can get, because currently, and I know one of the things, just this morning they came to me and they asked me to get all these rooms cleared out because we have a plan meeting tomorrow and they're expecting a large group. Currently, our back room here is loaded with those boxes, and I have no place to put them unless I take them to 8th Street first thing in the morning.
Well, we also have no place for our absentee crew to put things together because they literally can't get to the desks. Because there's equipment.
So currently, every space that she has is filled to the gills. There's not even a walking path within it. And then the basement is still loaded with stuff. So I don't know Unless you have some place where you know that we can go ahead and we can do this, it's a better
Again, this is
solution.
August last minute stuff. This is emergency that we created. It's a created emergency. I don't care what you say,
Is
Mr.
there,
Novak.
is there,
We couldn't come up with this space prior to knowing whether we were gonna get the complex done.
Talk to the council. First I heard about it is August. Nobody's known about it before.
is there a way to go through 1 through 10 and eliminate some of these, just so that we're doing what's absolutely necessary?
We don't have to. So you got a secured building. You lock all the doors. Nobody else goes in there for no other reason, just you. It's heated. It's cooled. So what's the emergency right now? Then we'll use it
Well, we have a passage in the back where there's several different offices that are connected, and we actually have to build.
There's nobody in there. This is going to be this for this. And we don't have nothing to worry about.
Did Adult Protective Services go in there? Yeah?
Yes, we were gonna put them on the far
Are
end.
they in there yet, though?
No, I have not moved them in there, because again, I don't wanna move them in unless I secure her space first. I'm trying to get to make sure that she gets what she needs for
get
the
it.
election. And then once I get the election stuff done, then I can move them into another office.
So,
Currently, they're working out of their cars,
right.
and no county employee should have to work out of their car.
No councilman should have to wait last minute and get the information in August, so I'm sorry.
Well, again,
Created emergency, created emergency.
It wasn't
let's
created because we
focus on
just
finding a
moved
solution.
people from
I
the
just made a
flood.
solution. Leave them in that, there. It's all secure. Nobody else goes in there.
But-
And give her the keys.
But you know, things like emergency lights, you gotta bring it, there's
come
things
in.
that gotta be
You
done.
can put emergency lights in tomorrow. That'll not take long. I could put one if you want to plug emergency light in. I'll show you how to do it. We used to have a department did that. I'm sorry.
So is there anything that you could cut this down within, the question I think was if the maintenance could maybe do some of this work too, or not?
Maintenance is gonna paint and
They're gonna pay?
Yeah, we've got
the
them
windows.
painting, we've got them cleaning the floors, we've got them moving all the excess furniture that we have there out of there. I mean, we already have them working in there.
I'll make a motion to approve $23,278.
Is there a second? Is that a motion of support? It's a motion of support.
Motion to support, right.
Second.
There's a motion and a second.
I'm just caught in the middle.
And again, I couldn't offer you the
other-
space.
The
All
council,
I had
no, the council's caught in the middle.
All the time.
No, the council's caught in the middle.
Any other comments? The thing that I would like to, this is my recommendation, is to I think a lot of the items, given the conversation here tonight, that we could eliminate, like paint the walls in the corners. Isn't maintenance going to do that?
Okay, we can do the painting, so that's number 5. Take number 5 off. Install light switches in
Install-
area designated to control all lights except emergency. Number 7. You tell me what you want to take off. You
So-
want me to read them off?
I'm looking at them. The door frames. Can they, I'm trying to remember the room. Can we get access to everything from there?
Well,
If
actually,
Adult
because
Protective Services doesn't go in there, and we do, as Mr. Yagowski said, keep the building secure,
I can put padlocks.
change the locks. So that's something that I'm assuming maintenance is going to do, is change
Put
all the locks
padlocks. We'll put padlocks on them.
on the doors.
But we still have the issue
Front door.
with the back room, because if you remember, when we walked through it, it's kind of like there was some type of a door
common
frame, and they pulled it out.
Right.
And so we would have to put,
You got something?
Yeah, it's real quick. I don't know how much you need to seal off, but if we just decided to seal off the area for the group,
Adult Protection Services.
Protection Services, sorry, my head's a little clogged with allergies, so if we did that, separated them out, and did all the other little security items, the lighting and everything else like that, is that a lower number, just so that we buy time to find a more
The,
permanent solution.
the issue is to get out the back door for egress, you go into a common area.
Correct.
So there isn't a back door for everybody. See what I'm saying? So,
But I was just trying to say, can we secure,
I think,
I know how it goes, and so you got it.
I would agree with it, but we got to somehow find a way
It's not a
to
solution.
drastically reduce this, especially with the idea that if it's not going to be an ongoing place that we're going to keep, we need to do the absolute minimum that's there, so.
I think that having the front door fixed would be huge, the one that would go in to where we said we would do
Voter
early
registration, right.
voting. And probably to be able to close that door would be important, because right now it's just a door frame, there's no door on it.
Right, so we have two large openings. We have the opening of where the intention is to put the early voting. So we would need a door there. So when you first walk into the office, there's just
Secure that.
a doorway. We would actually have to frame it out and put a door there with a lock on it. And then we have the secondary door that's at the back of the building, because again, we checked with fire department, you have to have an entrance at the front of the building and an entrance at the back of the building. So in order to have the one in the back of the building, then we would have to close up another doorway. It was never properly closed.
Right. So we need the 3 doors in the walls.
Yes, we do.
No.
So we don't have to put like number 6. We don't need base at the bottom of the wall. Light switches we need to control. The emergency light we need. The tinted lights, the tinted windows we need, because again, technically we're supposed to have bars on these, and what we're looking to do is just block it so that nobody can see in and see
And there
what
are
we
some
have
blinds
there.
that I think they're going to use, so. Do you want to put a lower dollar amount on it, Mike?
I was just gonna say, you think you can do it for 20,000?
We'll try it. Give us the 20
I was
and then
thinking,
we'll...
15, but.
Well, how about 17.5? What do you think, well, you probably really don't know. I really feel that you'll probably do your best to keep this down as much as possible, so I'll make a motion of support for not to exceed $20,000.
Accept the change.
That's your second?
That's my second.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
2. That's what I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to hear how it came in under budget and
I'll be back.
everything. I know you will. Any other department heads? Any other department heads? Any department heads on Zoom? Any department heads on Zoom? Hearing none. Liaison reports. Mr. Cunningham.
Seeing as it's 6:30 and we have a 5-page agenda and we're halfway through the first page, I waive.
Mr. Yagowski.
I waive.
Mr. Rosenbaum.
Waive.
I'm going to waive.
I'm going to continue the waive.
I'll waive.
That's monumental right there. Justin?
Also waiving.
All right, good. Thank you. Correspondence. Rhonda? Or Tim?
Mr. President, we have correspondence from 2 different entities. The Northwest Indiana Regional Planning Commission has informed that the required commitment from the county is going to be going up. I believe Councilman Keel is on that board.
We've already approved that.
That's already been approved. Okay, we received correspondence regarding that. It will be going up on a scale each year, 2025, 26, and so on, and that the letter just reported what it will be in the future.
Yep.
Yes, it was approved as part of the budget. This letter just talks about what will happen in future fiscal years so that we're fully prepared over the next 5 years.
And then we also received correspondence from what I see as 3 different attorneys applying for your attorney position. The firm of Burke, Constanza, and Carberry, Doug Beege of Drayton, Beege, Sarugo, and Elliott, and Chris Willoughby of Bragy Nelson. There were 2 attorneys that applied from the Burke, Costanza, and Carberry, Christian Bartholomew, and Alfredo Estrada.
Thank you. If, I don't know what, I'm going to ask the council's pleasure. I'd like to appoint Mr. Cunningham, Mr. Yagowski, and Mr. Karanka to a committee to go through the applications and then come back to us with recommendations, and then and it could be you bring back all 3. And then the council would have an exec session with some interviews and see what they decide to do. Is that?
Mr. Novak, there are actually 4 attorneys, 3 firms, but 4
3
attorneys.
firms, okay. Oh.
And in light of some extenuating circumstances, I would decline the appointment.
I appreciate that. You want to do it? Sure. Mr. Mollenauer will take, so Mr. Karanka, Mr. Mollenauer, Mr. Yagowski. And you guys will let us know. All right.
We put that on the next month.
We'll try and do that. We might try and do that prior to that workshop meeting. Tie it in with that maybe, if we need to have conversations. Just to get a report and see what we need to put on our next agenda.
Shouldn't be more than.
Thank you.
I would just want to be clear. I didn't leave out. You're not saying I left out attorney, are you? I just want to make
You
sure.
just named the firms, but I think there are 4 attorneys.
The letter of interest was mentioned to 2 attorneys in 1 letter. So just for the record, that's all.
No problem. Next item is ordinances. Amendment to the salary ordinance 2023-01.
Members of the council, remember last month there was some confusion regarding the assessor. So all this ordinance is doing is setting forth what the assessors and deputy assessor was paid in 2023. So it's just a buttoning up something that was missing from the salary ordinance.
Thank you. We have a motion to read this by title. We're going to read this by title only, or just an amendment?
Well, it's an amendment, but you know, it is an ordinance, so it'd have to be read twice. You have the choice of
Suspending.
Suspending, which would need to be unanimous.
What's your pleasure?
Motion to suspend the rule.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Karanka, second by Mr. Rosebaum to suspend the rules. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion to read by title only?
Mr. President, make a motion.
Mr. Yagowski, Mr. Rosenbaum by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
And there's no need to vote on the first reading.
Okay, just a reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a second amendment to ordinance number 2023-01, an ordinance adopting County of LaPorte, Indiana salary schedule and compensation policies.
All right.
Mr. President, make a motion to read by title only again for second reading, second vote.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Adam and Mike. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
This is the same thing I just said.
Mr. President.
Second amendment to ordinance number 2023-01, an ordinance adopting County of LaPorte, Indiana salary schedule and compensation policies.
Mr. President, motion to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski.
Second.
Second by Mr. Karanka. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next item is Resolution 2024-08A, resolution authorizing per diem payments to the auditor and deputy auditor for continuous
Assessor.
assessment. What'd I say, auditor? Yeah. He paid me to do that. You know that.
So this is also in follow-up. So Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Yagowski, put on your Wayback Machine. In the early decades of the 2000s, you had Tyler Industries come in to do the reassessment for all the property, and it cost over $1 million. At that point in time, the county council decided to give the assessor a per diem payment, which is allowed under statute because they do assessment all year round, and they do a quarter of the county every year for 4 years. So the State Board of Accounts came out and said, we understand that this was discussed way back when, we understand it's in the minutes, we understand that you've been doing it, but we want to see something in writing, hence a resolution or a policy. So we put together this resolution, so there's something in writing, so when you audit it next time, they'll look at it and they'll see. Currently, the per diem is $28.60 per day. At some point in time, if you raise the per diem in your budget, then the resolution will allow for that.
And back in the day when they were hiring this company, it was in excess of $1 million a year to perform all this service.
Yeah, I don't know if they did it in 1 year, but I know
It wasn't 1 year, but so what happened was we had that court case, and we were not, so we Carol McDaniel was the assessor at the time, so we were going through the issue, and what they were doing was trying to clean up all this after
They were hefty bills.
It's more to than just.
It was a big bill, though.
Absolutely.
Huge.
Absolutely. But it was,
and this is what the assessor in Porter County, does this. The assessor in many other counties gets the per diem. And we've been doing it, but this is just documenting what we've been doing.
And it saves the county money having it done in-house versus outsourcing it.
That's my understanding.
Question for Mr. DiMartino. Sorry, I jumped in front of someone there. Is this going to create additional documentation requirements for the assessor's office to justify what they did that day to qualify for the per diem? Because it's only the per diem for the day's work, correct?
Yeah, but they do reassessment every day, according to the assessor's office. They do reassessment activities every day.
Those individual employees do something every day too?
It doesn't
Or
go.
someone in staff does
two
it?
people.
It doesn't go to the individual employees. They're not paid a per diem. The assessor and the deputy assessor only by statute.
Okay. I just asked because, obviously they're not in the office every single day. You get sick sometimes, you go on vacation, whatever the case may be. So they wouldn't qualify for the per diem on days that they weren't actually there, correct?
The way that I believe that the county in the past has been doing it is they've actually, they took a chunk amount, which was, I think, $5,000 or $7,000, and they split it up into a daily per diem. So they could have done it as a chunk, but they did it as a per diem because that's what other
That's how it came
counties
out.
have done.
we were advised.
That's my understanding of what's been done.
We were advised by our attorney at the time to do that. Yeah.
And it's easier for
Per diem.
payroll. Payroll doesn't have to make the individual
If I'm not mistaken, it was Mr. Beasley. I think that was the attorney of our attorney, but it doesn't matter. We were advised by our attorney.
I only asked just because if all things are the same here, then it might just be easier for us to do an increase to a salary rather than doing a per diem amount that may require more paperwork, or maybe not.
Yeah, we didn't get called out on a paperwork documented every day. What we got called out on was the $28.60 per day. There's something in writing. Next year, maybe we'll get called out on that and we'll revisit it.
All right.
Thank you.
So is there a motion to read by title only?
Motion to read by title only, Mr. President.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski, second by Mr. Rosenbaum. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed?
You got to read.
You gotta find it first, that's why I was watching. Microphone.
Thank you, I never do that. A resolution authorizing per diem payment to assessor and deputy assessor for continuous reassessment activities. This resolution, yeah.
What's your pleasure?
We do it as one. This is one
reading.
One reading.
reading,
Yeah.
just-
Motion.
yep.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski, second by Mr. Cunningham. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next item is ordinance 2024-8, an ordinance to adopt request to use Recorder's Perpetuation Fund to cover office expenses and salaries.
We do this ordinance every year. It's by statute.
Motion to approve.
By title only?
By title only.
Hold on one second.
It's an ordinance.
It's an ordinance. So we,
Motion to suspend the rule.
motion to suspend the rule, please?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Karanka. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Title only?
Motion to read by title only?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Yagowski. Mr. Karanka, by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
An ordinance to adopt request to use Recorder's Perpetuation Fund to cover office expenses and salaries.
No need to vote on this.
Second reading by title only.
Second reading by title only, please.
Comment?
Mr. Rosenbaum and Mr. Cunningham.
No, he's got a comment.
Oh, you got a comment?
Well,
Go
let's
ahead,
get
I'm sorry.
get a second.
Second. And a comment.
All right.
I think it's important that we share with the public that the recorder is from a perpetuation fund covering almost $500,000 of expenses.
Absolutely.
Right, so these are recording fees that are being used to offset salaries and expenses. Right, in the office. So it's sort of like helping the self-funding office.
That's my exact point. We're at least partially funding from self.
Definitely. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Is there a motion?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Karanka, second by Mr. Rosenbaum. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Moving on to new business.
President, can we do it all at the same? They're just going to replace workers.
You want to go 1 through A through F?
We have F. We have
F, yeah, F.
F is a highway?
Yes.
Is that a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski to approve all of the president's authorizations to hire A through F.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cunningham. All those, any questions?
They're all present.
They're all replacements.
Yep, replacements.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next item is La Crosse Public Library. Tiffany, the director, is here for presentation of the budget, a public hearing, and then next month we vote?
Yes. Hello, I'm Tiffany. I'm from the La Crosse Public Library. I'm here about the budget. We're looking for from our general budget, $150,340, and the lease rental payment is $51,500.
So we're going to open up. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak? We're going to open the public hearing right now for their budget. Anybody from the public that would like to speak on La Crosse Libraries? Uh-oh, you better step aside. There's someone coming up behind you. You know, he can't help but talk.
No.
He was that.
Question I have.
Sir?
Steve Hollifield, 6782 East 100 South Mill Creek. The lease payment, $51,340, if I understand it, we're paying $51,000 to lease that library down there? I thought we owned the libraries.
That's that.
Payment to owner, okay.
It's not through, it's not coming to the county or through, we're not leasing it to them.
Okay.
It's all within
that's paying and buying. Okay, that's the question. All right, thank you.
Anybody else from the public that would like to speak? Anybody on Zoom? Anybody on Zoom? Anybody else from the public? Public comment is now closed. We'll hold this over for next month for formal adoption.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is consider approval of statement of benefits for Alexander Chemical, Matt Reardon.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members. Matt Reardon from the Office of Economic Development, Planning, and Government Affairs. Our friends from Alexander Chemicals seem to like LaPorte County. This is their third request for assistance. We like the fact that they're continue to support what they're doing here, and they're working through their corporate chain to make sure that LaPorte looks and shows competitive with their other locations. We have today for questioning, I don't mean questioning, but if you have any questions, President and CEO Rob Davidson's here, and also the Controller, Don Keaton, is here, and they're in the back, and so if you want to control them up here, that's fine. But just to tell you a little bit about the project, and I know that there was a handout. Alexander Chemical is looking at, and again, I want to reiterate, this was a competitive project, didn't have to come, it doesn't have to come here. $13 million total investment. They are going to refurbish and fix cylinders. So when I heard this, it doesn't sound important to me. For those of people that have an understanding about science and the chemicals, and I guess if those tanks leak, it could be problematic if you're in a room, like it could kill you. So it's an important work that they do. It's DOT regulated, and they want to build this facility here in LaPorte. Typically, companies request a little bit of assistance, and the county has responded in kind in the past, but it took a little bit different tact on this one. When Rob and Don were talking about this is competitive, and they weren't too put off by the property tax rate out in Kingsbury. It's $1.90 some cents per 100, which is, in comparison to other parts of the country, pretty favorable. What is onerous is a tax on personal property. So the request or the suggestion to the council is to provide an abatement on the personal property, and the real estate would remain taxable. And as the council is aware, those funds would be collected and used in the TIF for infrastructure improvements on places like the roadway out in front of Alexander Chemical. And so they're working also with the state on incentives. We have not gotten a letter back from them. This will go a long way in promoting the state. We're also working towards using a good old industrial revenue bond financing tactic that could help the company save more money. So that is the project in and of itself. The company's here to answer any questions you might have about what they're doing in the new jobs and the existing jobs and where they stand on their previous project. With that,
11 new members, what would that bring their staff to?
You want to come up?
What will that bring your total staff to then?
About 78.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your continued efforts in LaPorte County.
You're welcome. So you're rebuilding the cylinder tanks, Ed? So the cylinder tanks that we use, they're tons and cylinders. They're DOT regulated, so they have to be recertified every 5 years. So we go through a process of actually refurbishment of the cylinder. So it's sandblasting, painting, internal inspection, hydrostatic direct expansion testing. We're taking it a step further with a new technology that's out there for cylinders. It's basically a 5-channel ultrasound where we can actually look at wall delamination, pitting, any kind of weld deformation in the cylinders. So we can basically ensure that the cylinder goes out integral as a pressure boundary and will not leak.
Can you give your name real quick?
Robert Davidson. I'm the CEO and president for Alexander Chemical.
It's a simple question. What's the size of these cylinders that we're talking about?
So a 1-ton cylinder is about twice the size of that table. Holds obviously 2,000 pounds of material, all the way down to 100-pound cylinders that are about this big. So it's a various size depending on use.
Any other questions or comments? I just want to say, if you guys haven't been out there, go out and visit the expansion of the offices and everything else. And we were out there for the groundbreaking, and the owners.
Yeah.
Very nice people and very committed to doing business here in LaPorte County, and everybody that's out there. So they're a great partner, and we appreciate them. So with that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Council.
it.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks.
It's just a statement of benefits.
What? What
So, Mike, you look.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm a little off today because of...
You can't hear. What's he looking for?
The approval was for...
Statement of I already told him.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Just making sure.
Right? Y'all
Y'all
heard me, right? Yeah.
You'll be back.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you had forwarded that separately of this.
Next item is consideration of Job Evaluation Committee 2025 recommendations. First one is Michigan Township Assessor is requesting a commercial real estate deputy from a comment 4 to a comment 5. And let's do them, and
Can we
then
do both together, please?
and then a residential real estate deputy from a comment 4 to a comment 5. What's your pleasure?
I'll make the motion to approve, but then after, right second, I'd like to make a comment.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Mullenhour.
My comment is simple. These people, prior to the current Michigan Township Assessor, were not doing the same equivalent work that was being done here in the regular county assessor's office. And now that they have gone through all the training and are doing all the work, they should be rewarded for that effort, and so therefore they should be treated as equals. And that's what this was about.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, question. So if that's the case, is this, the next person coming in could be right back to where we were at before? We're paying more money, but if the next person coming in
Could change the job?
yes. So this is job specific for individuals, or are we actually, are we changing the requirement of the job?
We're changing the requirement of the job.
Yeah.
Where is that written at?
You'll have to ask your HR.
What's your question?
So the question is that the commercial real estate deputy and the residential real estate deputy would need to, their classification would need to be changed from a 4 to a 5.
Correct.
But so that it's not, the question is it's not employee, in other words, we know it's hypothetically
No, it's,
Bob.
it's
we're just
never
giving Bob.
employee-based. It's always based on the position.
So then that'll be locked. If a new Michigan Township assessor comes in, he would have to come back and ask to have it changed.
No.
If he wants to pay him differently than this
If he wants to,
in the future.
if he wants
Yeah,
to
but,
take
yeah,
them
but
up to a
what
6.
Mark was asking, is there additional certification? Is there additional?
So just say by default, the same person wins the election next time that was in there before, prior to. He ran it this way, so he just gets the raise because by default we're giving a raise to this department.
He's not either one of these, though.
I understand exactly what Mr. Yagowski is saying.
To be clear, there needs to be certifications that need to come with this.
And where is that written that these jobs now are certified to be, that certification is
So
required?
if they're level 2 or level 3, whatever.
Yeah, they have to have a certain level. They have to have
So
the,
did-
they have
so
to
did
have
the
the
previous- So did
levels.
the previous person in Michigan Township, that's what I'm asking.
Yes, they have to have the levels, but these positions didn't require them before, but now they are.
But he was, so, okay, so.
It's not him, it's the position underneath
That's what I'm
him.
trying to get across.
Yes.
We've changed it now, the position has changed. Go ahead.
He's exactly right. If you're way before your time, even as assistant HR, there was a surveyor that was elected that had no background in surveying, said, I need a full-time job with benefits, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And he hired out the surveying work to the previous surveyor. Basically, that's what happened. So you're telling us now, to make sure that doesn't happen again, that the Michigan Township assessor has to have certification to get elected.
No, this is for his commercial real estate deputy and his residential real estate deputy.
people in his office.
The people in his office,
okay.
not him. These are for the people in his
So,
office.
Those two people, the real estate deputy, the two real estate deputies could be more qualified than the elected official.
Absolutely.
Just want to make sure I get this clear.
Yeah, I mean, we have that now.
I don't know that we could put a requirement on an elected official.
No,
That's my point, and that's my conversation. That's why you didn't understand, Mr. Novak. And I'm saying, all it is, we could put the same person back in again. Doesn't matter what qualifications he has. What are we solving here?
Yeah, but
We're
he does
giving
have
him-
a certification.
Taking care of the
now.
employees.
Well, it's great to take care of people, but they have to get paid for their credentials, not for just because
And these
he's a good guy,
And
he's a
that's
good guy or she's a
required.
good guy.
When we assessed this position, when we went through and did our evaluation, the whole job description has changed. The whole position has changed to bring it up to where it should be by state statute, by requirement. So that's why they're requesting the change from a comment 4 to the comment 5.
If I may, as part of this committee, when we went through the evaluations, and if we go back a couple of years or even last year, where we had the county assessor's office doing a lot of work to clean up what was coming out of the Michigan Township assessor's office in order to get all the books straight, we had a gap where it came down to the office, including these two roles, were not qualified or capable of doing so. Things have changed, the structure have changed, and now those folks are brought up to the skill set of what's needed of the deputies in the county assessor's office, and therefore we're bringing their pay rates to those
And anybody
roles.
applying for those jobs would have to meet that same
They
criteria.
have to meet the same requirements.
Exactly. And so, Mr. Yagowski, to your question, and I think was what you're asking for is, does that included on the job description
Yes.
that supports this rate change?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So in the past, on some of these jobs, we've hired people that, because it's hard to sometimes get that qualification. Do you see that being a problem? Because we have had problem with this in the past, right? Both
I think the
Michigan
language
Township-
states that they have to have it within a certain time frame, within 6 months of the position, they have to have it. Is the language in the job description, do you recall?
I think it sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if I'm crossing that also with, I thought the assessor's also required to have a level 3 within 6 months of being elected.
Yeah, his was, but some of his people underneath didn't, and that's pretty common because it's hard to get some of these people at those levels. That's why you're actually, these people, like Mr. Cunningham says, they're more qualified than the person that's.
Unfortunately, that Mr. Molnar remembers very well, someone ran for sheriff that had no law enforcement background. Just stay around long enough, you'll see anything, won't you?
Well, not in our county that I can read.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Anyway, all right. We got a long night and a short time to get there. Any other questions or comments on the Michigan Township assessor? People, all in favor say aye.
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 Those
Aye.
opposed? Nay.
To clarify something, you mentioned ran for sheriff, right? You didn't say became sheriff.
Absolutely. Fortunately, in that case, the taxpayers were wise enough to not elect.
Correct.
We're trying to stay
Okay.
focused
I
on the
misunderstood for a moment.
meeting.
I complimented him on his memory, and it just came back to him.
I lost it at some point here. Anyway. You know what? Next meeting, you two are sitting next to each other. Let's move on. County Assessor, PETA BOA Board exemption deputy assessor from a comment 4 to a comment 5.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Karanka.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rosenbaum. Question.
So the PETA BOA Board Executive Deputy, is that still an appointed position? Is that part of Mike's?
I think it's somebody in his office. It's in his office.
So it's got to be somebody that Mike has in his office?
Yeah. Yeah. They're internal, yeah.
Okay, because there's some people that don't have their credentials, that's why I'm asking you a question.
Yep. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Community Corrections, change counselor position to case management coordinator, putting this position on the same poll level as the other coordinators.
So, motion to approve, comments after.
Second.
Motion by Adam, seconded by this guy, Mike.
So,
Rosenbaum.
You're talking threw me off. You lost my.
when Ms. Beatty came to see us and went through this, she has difficulty filling one area and came down to consolidating 2 different roles into one position in order to justify this. So this is not only it's a restructuring to where it combined an open position and a current position into what we see here in front of us.
Any other questions or comments?
Are you saying they'll have one less employee than they had in the past?
One less position.
Which is the same.
So
they're not going to ask for that.
They're not going to ask for
that
position.
I think it's the same.
The case manager position that she has been vacant for 2 years, and she has not found anyone to fill that position.
But she's not eliminating position. She's
No.
just renaming the position so that it's easier to hire somebody in there. It's
Yes,
not
she's just
eliminating
changing it.
anything at this point.
No, there's nothing being eliminated.
Yeah, make sure everybody knew.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it's just like
Doesn't make any sense.
Amanda. So to
if they're
show you a comparison in the health department, she had to reclassify. Would you like to come up? Reclassify.
Mrs. Beatty is on the
Yeah,
on
that would
the
be
Zoom
so
if you
much
guys
easier.
have questions.
But I'm just doing a comparison to what we did in the health department with, like a nurse. You downgraded.
The CMA.
Right.
Yeah, a medical assistant.
So that they can find somebody. Do you have questions you want to ask her, or no? You guys good with it?
Well, so we can clear up the confusion a little bit. Ms. Beatty?
Are you on there?
Yes, I'm here.
Could you please, since it's been a couple of months since we sat down and did this job classification board meeting, or council, committee, there we go. Will you explain exactly how you structured this?
Well, basically, we have a counselor position that is open currently, but they have to have some type of certification in substance abuse counseling, mental health counseling. We haven't been able to fill that position because of the salary. We can't compete with the other agencies or people with those credentials. So we haven't been able to fill that position. So we've had to outsource all of our substance abuse classes and our mental health component. However, we do have close to 300 people on our caseload, so we need an additional case manager and someone to supervise the case management department. So we wanted to restructure it into a supervisory role, but we're still utilizing our outsourcing.
Perfect, thank you.
That cleared up?
So you still don't have that person, but you'll be able to hire that person then for that position?
No.
We would be able to hire a case manager because they wouldn't necessarily need to have the certifications to be a substance abuse counselor or a mental health counselor.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next item is LaPorte County Health Department. Amanda? A new position added for Director of Nursing, unclassified.
Yes, sir.
The other next position is a new position for Health Department Education Specialist / School Liaison.
Yes.
Non-exempt. And then a new position for Nursing Supervisor.
And I think that's some confusion. It's not a new position. It's just a renaming of the current supervisor
To
to a
restructure?
manager to a man. Correct. So that's a current position that would be restructured since you approved the DON position.
And you have the money for that?
I have all the money. Yes.
This is all HEA.
So you're not asking for funding?
I'm not asking
There's
for
no
funding. I
funding
have the
connected to it.
funding.
Right.
Correct. I remember at budget hearings, you did approve for me to get those new positions this year. So I would like to advertise those and knowing.
Ms. Landers, have the salaries been set for these positions yet? And are you intending for them to take effect this year?
I am intending for them to take effect this year since I was given permission to hire this year, and I
The
do not know
salaries?
what the salaries have been set at. That's part of the job classification part, is decide where they fall in that classification, correct?
Well, these are unclassified, so I guess the council would need to set a salary for them.
So the director of nursing would be unclassified, but
But
not the other.
would setting the salaries be at another meeting? Is that something you want us to do right now?
I'd like to be able to advertise them so I
How are we going to
can.
base it without a suggestion of salary compared to the other people? I mean, where do you want it? It's going to have to come at another, we can't. There's no way.
Okay.
We need the request and a comparison to show where, especially a nurse supervisor, where the other nurses are, where you want.
And I did supply that to the job committee. So I'm coming back next
So
month.
let's work with what we have here in front of us.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand what you just said. I don't know if you have to go back to the job committee at that?
No.
With the salaries? I
No.
thought you were just coming here.
Correct. But she gave it to them, she didn't bring it to
I'm
us.
sorry.
So she needs to bring it to us, the salaries, so we can approve them.
Oh, so I can make up my salaries. You'll approve them?
No, because somebody on the job committee has a copy of that, and they'll bring it.
Okay.
All right, so what we have here before us, 1 through 3. Go ahead, Justin.
You'll also want to talk to Ms. Graves about getting a salary ordinance prepared for the next meeting.
So when you have those, if you can get those, so we can do it all at the same time. All right? So what we have here, 1 through 3, Health Department, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Really?
Well, we're just allowing for these positions with subject to salary.
I'm not sure what we're voting for.
Yeah.
That's why you got us confused, Mr. Novak.
Okay.
We're only, that's why I said item 1 through 3, let's state what it's here. She has to come back for the salaries and what she's doing this year. This is for the positions for next year.
Okay, granted, until she comes into the ordinance. for
If
the
she's
salary.
gonna fill them next year, this year, why do we have to approve them for next year?
Sorry,
If they approve them for this year, they'll just automatically get added on for next year's
So
without
here's the thing,
144s, et cetera.
we'll table this, you come back with the salaries that go with this, and we'll approve this at our next meeting, all in one sweep.
Here we go.
One sweep.
Motion
Second.
by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Yagowski. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Table.
Thank you.
See you next month. Thank you. HR, change part-time HR administrative assistant to full-time at Comet 4. Change our HR assistant to unclassified with a recommendation-based salary. What's your pleasure?
Mr. President, I'd make a motion to move this to the HR committee or discussion to the HR committee, as well as other HR matters that are, timely and relevant, and take that up at that time.
We have a committee, well,
It's all of us.
no.
No, it's you and me. And
We have liaisons, and then we have the entire committee, which is the Board of Commissioners and this council.
that's for.
That's the whole.
Yeah. I don't know which Justin, which are you referring to?
Who's the
The committee that involves the commissioners as well, the full HR committee.
So you want to refer this to everybody to talk about okay, I mean, that's a motion.
Well, some of this is structural related to the department, so.
But
Well, hold on one second, hold on.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at those prior ordinances, they really only deal with the HR director. So I don't know how you could have both boards meeting for the structure of the department. So
I could understand if Mr. Keel, if you wanted, let's say, Mr. Rosenbaum and Mr. Karanka to meet with Monique and talk about and figure out exactly the restructure and get a better idea of it and then come back to the council. But I think calling a full-blown 10-member, council and commissioner isn't for the assistant position.
Mr. President, I think the question is not that particular. We have a hiring freeze, and this was a part-time to a full-time position, so it runs differently. I can understand with Mr. Keel's position on that. So it runs differently. It's not like she's asking for a full-time employee.
She currently has an opening for a full-time employee.
I'll tell you right now, you can go through all the minutes of the meeting and show me where it says that. She has full and a part-time person. Nothing has ever changed. We gave it a temporary.
Full-time is not there anymore.
Go show me the minutes. We have a full-time and a part-time.
I'm saying the individual's not there.
I don't care.
She has an opening.
They're asking for a full-time position for the part-time.
She has an opening. She does. A person left. So there's an opening. The full-time person.
That's not what this says, though,
That's what it says, Mr. President. I know you can say it, doesn't say this in black and white.
But it's not the first department that's taken a part-time person and moved it to full-time when a full-time opening came open.
And it's been positioned by the council.
So that would leave her a part-time opening. It would be what's left. Don't shake your head, IT director. That's what would be left based on what we're talking about.
Mr. President, is that what you're saying? Hold on one second, because are you saying that there's somebody that's part-time in the office and now you want to transition that person into the full-time position, and increase the classification? Is that? Well, here it says full-time at comment 4.
I think it's two.
There's two.
No, I'm talking about I'm at
requests.
A. This does not make sense. So change part-time HR administrative assistant to full-time at a comment 4. So that's assuming that there's somebody there that's going to transfer to full-time at a comment 4. So are you making that position for the person, or are you making that position for the slot?
In HR, you have a director, a full-time employee, and a part-time employee. correct?
Correct.
Budgeted. Currently, it's the HR director and a part-time employee. That's what's in there right now.
But a month ago, there was a full-time employee.
Correct. And now there isn't. So when I asked if that's what she's doing, is moving the part-time person to the full-time position, she said, no, I thought she was down her head.
But it's changed to a comment 4. What was it?
Incorrected.
That's not what it says.
Basically, what it is taking the part-timer that I currently have. She's not classified. She's not $16.50 an hour. She's an hourly part-time employee. I'm asking to take her to a classification of a Comment 4 as an HR admin assistant, therefore making 3 full-time positions in the Human Resources Office with no part-time people at all.
Let the record show that I was incorrect.
That is what I am asking for. So no more part-time people in the HR office.
All right.
I'm going to withdraw my motion and instead switch it to a motion to table. I think this warrants some more research and discussion.
Question, Mr. President.
It's a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion to table by Mr. Keel, second by Mr. Yagowski. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'll need to see evidence that we've lifted.
I know. I was
Tabled.
I was.
I'm sorry. There was a second part B. The second one, the HR assistant to unclassified. I don't think there was no discussion about that one either.
We read them both off.
No? Okay, so both of them are tabled.
Yeah.
To when?
Till we take it off the table.
So the committee meets with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next item is the Board of Commissioners, confidential secretary to the Board of Commissioners from a comment 5 to a comment 6.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Mullenhour. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
So I would like to ask though, because again, this was something that was passed back in 2022. And she's been back at that job part of last year and this year. And she has taken on more duties with the credit card, trying to figure out like getting all the different working with all the different departments and everything. And I'm asking for $3,332 so that she would get paid as of this year. And this is something that was approved back in 2022.
For clarification, Commissioner,
Clarification.
is that from the job evaluation committee is where you say it was passed?
Yes.
Passed by us.
And then
You said it voted for it. We did not vote for it.
no, it was
Well,
the job evaluation committee
They
approved it.
passed it, right, and they brought it before
I know
the
that, but that had
council
nothing to do
in
with us, right.
2022.
The issue was, and as much as I agree, there were a lot of other employees caught up in that delay or that gap at the same time. So
But not other employees had to take on added responsibilities like
Well,
she did.
if they
But
changed
it's
their
okay.
classification, they should have been doing something different. Unless somebody wants to,
No.
it's, Mr. Yagowski said no.
Motion denied. Motion denied.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Well, there's a motion. I didn't hear a
Didn't hear a
second.
second.
I didn't hear any vote on
He's
it.
withdrawn his motion. We're not, unless somebody wants to make a motion.
Well, let me replay this. So we voted to approve this change effective immediately.
Correct.
And then Commissioner Grammarosa asked about back pay.
Retroactive.
Oh,
Retroactive.
wait. Just remember. This is for 2025. This isn't for today.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Motion denied.
No, listen to me. What we approved for your administrative secretary doesn't take effect till January 1st. Is what you should be asking for is like Amanda asking for it to be put into effect as soon as possible. Instead of going back in pay, you should be asking for it to,
I'm sorry, it came to the board and it was tabled. That's what happened.
they were all tabled.
So now, I guess, would it have to be taken off the table and voted on?
Well,
Okay.
Our table?
wait, hold on, wait. Okay, so are you talking about just,
The position.
so this was posted tonight for 2025.
This doesn't take effect till January 1st.
I mean, that's what the agenda said.
Yes, it was.
This was tabled in the past.
By this council.
Yes.
Right.
You have to vote.
So the thing is first thing that needs to be corrected is you should ask for the pay to take effect this year, just as Amanda's looking to do with her nurses. Because if not, I mean, you're asking for retro pay, but you could give her $3,000 for back pay, but tomorrow she's going back down to the lower pay.
Okay, so then my request would be to pay from.
Motion of support for it to take effect immediately.
Yes.
Is that, wouldn't you, Ivan?
I think that's going to require a salary ordinance amendment.
Well, we'll amend the salary ordinance. That's what attorneys get paid for.
Well, it will,
Right, if we do it.
if you guys do
But
it.
we do a motion of support,
With the
Right. And it
health
would-
department.
right, and it would have to come back next month. At the same time, the ordinance would be adjusted for presentation at that meeting. So what's your pleasure?
Motion of support to start, to put it in play at the next meeting, to change the salary ordinance beginning at that time. Now, I'm not talking about retroactive.
Motion of support for it to take effect tonight.
Tonight? Okay. So to take effect tonight?
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, seconded by Mr. Mullenhour, for it to take effect immediately. It's a motion of support, and we would have to follow up at our next meeting with the salary ordinance change. What? Oh. Everybody good with that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
He said, that was two. He gave.
Would it just come from the budget, or does it need an appropriation? Is what you might want to consider for.
That, we'll have to
Yeah, we'll
figure that out
bring
our
that
next
in,
meeting, so
I'll
when we
bring
do
in
our
the
salary
difference.
ordinance.
So another thing I'd like to discuss, since 1996, the pay for the secretary to stay her 1 month evening meeting is $50. Now, we've tried to raise it to $75. It's $25 more. We currently pay other individuals $12 a sheet to do the minutes, and they're not even required to be here. So I would like to see or ask if we could move that up to $75.
We're gonna need to add that to our next agenda, right,
Okay.
Guy?
Yeah, next meeting.
Yes, sir. Right.
All right.
We'll put that on our next agenda.
All
Got
right.
that?
Thank you.
Tim, Rhonda, did you write that down? Yep, thank you.
For both departments, auditor and commissioner, would it be?
Well, it's the same person.
No, auditor has one who gets $50
For the pay,
too.
for the pay, yeah. Yeah. All right, next one is information technology, IT assistant administrator position, be equivalent to the 911 network administrator position, starting salary of $61,494. Where's the administrator position?
It's actually the network administrator position, and this too was approved by the evaluation committee last year and then tabled like the commissioner secretary. So he is the network administrator, not my assistant.
But why are you asking for him to be equal to the 911?
Because they do the same
The
job.
network, so it's both the, okay, got it. I'm with you. All right, what's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski, second by Mr. Mullenhour. Is there any questions?
There's a statement that we combined these jobs a couple of years back, so this is just it's just taking care of what's going on from a couple of years ago.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. That takes effect January 1.
Well, and I'm gonna ask, like the commissioners did, to start it today.
Agenda's full.
It was approved last year by the evaluation committee and then got tabled by this committee. By this council, sorry, not committee.
I'm not going to make motions.
That's why I told you guys started this stuff. So. No.
I'm hearing nothing.
I'll make a motion to approve that request of that salary change.
Motion of support.
Motion of support for that salary change to be effective from this date, today's date.
Motion by Mr. Mullenhour. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Rosenbaum. On the questions.
Admittedly, I'm getting a little uneasy about some of this because we approved some previously that were to take effect in 2025. How do we make sure that we're being fair across the board to everybody if they wanted it to start right away as opposed to next year, which does create some other additional budgeting issues in the short term?
I actually wouldn't need any additional funds because I have currently funds available for this year.
Mr. Keel, what I believe what I'm hearing as a distinguishing factor, at least from the folks who have come up here, is that these were previously approved by the evaluation committee, and what the other jobs, Mr. Karanka said they just reviewed in the last few months. So if you're looking for a distinguishing factor, I think that could be one. How strong of a distinguishing factor, I don't know.
And I agree, but I think it's pretty strong. That's why I made the motion of support.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed?
Nay.
Two, and I don't know if Mr. Keel wants to weigh in.
I'll go with aye on it.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. All right.
Since I already have the funds, do I need to come back next
No.
month?
Please.
Thank you.
It will need to get added to a salary ordinance, though.
Thank you. Next item is Highway Department, a new position added for crew leader is an LTC 4, approved at the budget hearing.
That's replacing an
You can't, you got to wait until you're up there.
That's replacing an equipment operator position and making it a crew leader.
Correct. You're not creating a new position.
No, not creating a new position.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski.
For
second
next
by
year.
Mr. Rosen.
Not this
God
year.
bless you. You see? See how Thank you.
Thank you.
She's figured out the game.
Motion and a second. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Then we have the new one that was added was adult probation administrative assistant from a comment 5 to a comment
I'm sorry, keep going.
6. Was this one reviewed by the committee?
This was one that was done last year in 2023,
But
and it
Mr.
got
Irick is
tabled.
not here, so.
I'm going to make a comment on a couple of these others. We re-reviewed them this year, and this one I do not remember at all.
No, this was
So-
one that was tabled also last year when we had to go through the
Didn't come
whole.
back on at
No.
this year's meeting?
No, it didn't come back on because we had already evaluated this position. This position had already been evaluated. It was already approved with our committee that we had prior to our meeting with Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy. Remember that whole go-around that we had to meet with them first, and then we would go back and do all this. But this was one that was approved prior to our meeting with Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy, bringing it back to the board for approval.
What's your pleasure?
Does anybody know what the added responsibility for this particular job?
She oversees grants, grant fundings. She monitors the grant funds that comes in, which is over probably close to $1 million. And it's a financial piece that she
She's been
has.
doing it for the last 5 years, 10 years?
No, she hasn't. She just now has inherited that duty.
So who was a grant writer before that then?
I don't think they had a grant writer before in probation. I don't think there was one.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
What's your pleasure?
Motion to table until Mr. Eric is available.
Correct.
We have a motion to table.
Second.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Table till next meeting.
Yes.
Okay, appropriations, transfers, and request. LaPorte County Health Department, just so, I just want to give these, Rhonda and I have been working on trying to put the transfers first, the permission to spend, and this is my terminology, not hers, permission to spend second on the list, and then appropriations for new funds towards the bottom of the agenda, so that it's a little bit less confusing. So, the LaPorte County Health Department requested fund transfers to correct an error within the preparedness grants. So they're moving funds from 8903, Fund 8277, Preparedness 19 to 8242, Preparedness 18.
Motion to approve both as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cunningham, second by Mr. Karanka. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you. Thank you. Next item. The next item is the auditor's office requesting to transfer from Riverboat to Rainy Day Fund. They're going to be transferring $354,748.08.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cunningham, second by Mr. Kronk. And just for the audience knows, 50% of all the money that comes in from the Riverboat goes to the Rainy Day Fund. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
For the public's edification, could we have a rough estimate of the balance of the rainy day fund?
Is it okay if we continue while you're
Sure.
Okay. Yep. I do know that the Riverboat Fund is getting up there too. So that's good. Request to transfer for regional planner, miscellaneous claims, other services in charge, payment to NERC, $78,691. This is a transfer.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kronka, second by Mr. Molenhorn. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next item is request an appropriation from the Fair Security Fund. This is for reimbursement. This has to do with the EMS payout at the fair. It's reappropriation of the money that was paid by the fair board, $6,070 to put in their fund.
Motion approved.
Second. Motion by Mr. Yagowski, second by Mr. Cunningham. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The next item is requesting an additional appropriation. So if an office has a transfer, a permission to spend, and an appropriation, they try and put them in order. But we don't want to. We're not going to make that department head come back later on the agenda.
Just as a reminder, you have to do a roll call on these.
Correct. Correct. So this is requesting additional appropriation on Riverboat Fund or any of the funds we're in the process of shoring up our health insurance. The request is for $500,000.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski. Yes. No.
No, that's the next one.
Motion. Motion by Mr. Yagowski.
I'm sorry, for which fund again?
Which fund?
The opioid unrestricted. How much is there?
420,000.
Oh.
Well, you don't want to take that. You're not taking that. Yeah. Okay.
Which one? And you guys?
What's in Riverboat?
Riverboat's at 305.
No.
Yeah, after the transfers.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'm just basing on what it was starting with.
Okay, there's three of these here. Four or three. 125,000 I've each bought all four of them.
How much money? I like it.
If they don't have that much money in them,
I like it.
125 out of four.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion? Motion by Mr. Yagowski. Didn't somebody second it?
No.
Who's going to second it?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Cunningham.
vote against it.
That's gonna be, that's gonna be 125,000 out of each of those 5 funds then?
Four.
4 funds, I'm sorry. Okay, all right.
Can we,
Yes.
can we,
500,000 has to be.
opioid unrestricted qualify? Just want to double check with our attorney.
It's unrestricted.
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 I know, but
Yeah, opioid unrestricted.
I just
yes.
want to clarify. Don't want to have to come back and do it again. Roll call.
Councilman Cunningham?
Nay.
Councilman Yagowski?
Aye.
Councilman Rosenbaum? Councilman Novak?
Aye.
Councilman Karanka?
Aye.
Councilman Molinar?
Aye.
Councilman Keel?
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 nay.
Thank you. Next one is the coroner requested an appropriation from her non-reverting fund for that $6,000 match grant for the opioid suicide study. Yeah. Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Karanka. Is there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
I believe this was published, so
It's
if it was published, you have.
So it's roll call.
Don't. Roll call, Mr. Auditor.
Councilman Cunningham?
It's their own money. It's an appropriation though when it was advertised, but it's coming out of their fund.
Aye. Council still needs to be advertised.
No.
Councilman Yagowski?
Aye.
Councilman Rosenbaum?
Aye.
Councilman Novak?
Aye.
Councilman Karanka?
Aye.
Councilman Molinar?
Aye.
Councilman Keel?
Aye.
7 ayes.
I was just clarifying. I'm not disputing. I agree. We're good. Next item is the prosecutor requesting appropriation for reimbursement from the prosecution pretrial diversion deferral fund for scholarships totaling $38.44.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cunningham, seconded by Mr. Yagowski.
No roll call needed.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next item is request and appropriations for grant reimbursement from Adult Protective Services in the amount of $73,539.61, and then service charges in the amount of $80,818.69. What'd I say?
80.
It's $8,818. Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum.
Second.
No roll call needed.
Seconded by Mr. Karanka. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next item is LaPorte County Sheriff requesting additional appropriation from Lit Public Safety or any of the other ones that we have for shoring up, it's for payment pension. If you guys want to look at it again next month, I've talked to the sheriff this morning. As long as it gets made by the end of the year, that's all he cares about.
Is there a reason for delaying it?
Funding. I guess just to see if something opens up or if something doesn't, or it's going to get paid. It's gonna
So
get
at
paid.
this point, the only single account that can handle it is ARP.
Right.
The reason I ask is just because these funds, when they're sitting in our account, they're not earning a ton of interest. Once they get paid to that pension fund, they're invested in the market, and they will always outperform whatever we're able to do in the market. So it's better for their pension in the long term if the money is put there as soon as we can.
And I would
agree. I do get the point of being able to choose which fund you want to pull it from, but
I would agree with you 100%, but attending some of the meetings and talking with them, it doesn't translate into a savings to the council, back to the county. It generates more money for their fund, and it's better and it's more secure, but it does not, you see what I'm saying?
You know, it really comes, if I may, it really comes, in one sense, it comes down to whether you think the sheriff's going to make more money by having the money in the market now, or the county's going to make more money by having the money, earning money in a money market.
I think it's the unsureness of where we're taking it from and what's going on right now. That's the only thing.
But he's probably correct that over the long run, the sheriff will earn more than we would earn in a money market, but.
Well, absolutely.
But
So what's the council's pleasure?
Motion to approve out of ARP.
Bite the bullet.
Rhonda was reminding me that the law specific to pensions may not
we put it on
Oh,
here.
she's right.
Plus, we
Yeah, that might be a problem.
Commissioner's approval to do that, wouldn't we?
No, I
There-
don't think ARP allows.
There's a specific prohibition by the federal government for using ARP dollars for pension payments. She's right.
So that's why we didn't do that.
Sort of like the bonus thing.
So,
Yeah.
it's in my motion. So we're at motion to table.
Carry it to the next month. All right. Motion by Mr. Karanka, seconded by Mr. Keel to table till next month. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I have to abstain, but I really don't see a reason why they
Table.
don't table.
Next item is building maintenance.
May I interrupt you for a moment? It's me. You had asked for the rainy day balance.
yes.
After the deposits from today, the $354,748.08, the balance of rainy day will be $6,019,279.65.
Thank you.
And what is the cap? 15,000?
15 million.
15 million, so yeah, we're
We got a ways.
considerably short of halfway.
Next item is LaPorte County Building Maintenance, requesting additional appropriations from Railroad Opioid, Wintex, or ARP service charge for water utility bills in the amount of $85,000 plus service and charges for Corson Fire and Rescue repairs in the amount of $28,000, totaling $113,355.64. What's your pleasure?
Excuse me. Good evening. Cheryl Listinsky, Building Director. So prior to this meeting, error was realized that I would like to change the $85,000 to $56,730. The error was basically we had paid NIPSCO out of water. It was a type error, so I'll do a claim adjustment with the auditor's office to get that fixed.
Okay.
So that's what I'd like to add to that.
What's your pleasure?
For the water utility bills, could you clarify, have you guys been paying anything other than water utility bills out of that account?
We pay LaPorte City Water, Michigan City. We pay Zincan, which is our safe water and wastewater chemical. They take care of our closed loop chiller system. And we also pay Johnson Septic. They basically pump out our sump pump in the boiler room, and JSC in the kitchen and drains.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Was that I'm sorry. Is that a motion? You were getting ready to make a motion,
Yes.
weren't you?
So, motion to approve to the adjusted amount for $56,730 for the water bills, and along with the $28,355.64 out of Wintex. Thanks, Mike.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Karanka, seconded by Rosenbaum. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Nay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next time. Two.
Delayed reaction.
Next item is LaPorte County Park Department requesting a transfer. You okay if I go ahead and start? Or you want to talk? I mean, I'm just happy to be leading the red page here. It is awful.
Good job.
Yeah. Requesting transfer from ARP miscellaneous claims to other services and charges, proper invoicing. I'm reading what's here. $16,308.80.
So this was a project that was approved last year but wasn't finished. It was the asphalt ceiling out of ARP. And in the past, we were paying that out of the 20200 account, which needs to be moved to a 300 account to better align with what I'm being told.
Sounds good.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Karanka, seconded by Mr. Cunningham.
No roll call needed, sir.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next item is requesting to transfer from Park Non-Reverting Operating Fund Removal of roof and preparation of placement at Red Mill Pond.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, seconded by Mr. Cunningham.
No roll
Any
call needed.
questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next item is request an additional appropriation, excuse me, riverboat service charges, roof repairs at the former highway property in Rolling Prairie that's now going to be our newest county park.
That roof is, when we inherited that, it was covered completely in a tarp, so we want to, eventually, we think we want to turn that restroom into that building into a restroom / small office space for somebody that would be working out there, so we need to get a roof on it.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Karanka. Any questions or comments? All those, what? Roll call, please.
Councilman Mullenhour.
Aye.
Councilman Karanka.
Aye.
Councilman Novak.
Aye.
Councilman Rosenbaum. Councilman Yagowski.
Nay.
Councilman Cunningham.
Aye.
Councilman Keel.
Aye.
5 ayes, 2 nays.
Thank you. Next item is requesting permission to make advance payment for approved roof job. This is for the steel roof on Red Mill. They requested 50% down, so we needed to approve it.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Mullenhour. Yes.
So realistically, we were not doing anything with any additional monies. We're just giving you permission to take half the money we gave you last month and pay an invoice for money down for materials, which is allowed by statute. But what we found is state statute calls out must be clearly approved by both the Board of Commissioners and the council.
Right, and I would hope in the future that if someone, because this isn't the only one that we've come out, that when they come before to ask permission, they could do them both at the same time and
Yes,
save a lot
I
of
will.
There's others.
After this, I will, yes.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Request permission to make advance payment. This is for the other roof.
Same roof, but the one up above where we already
The one of the 10,000.
being paid for out of
It's
non-revolving.
half payment for that one, so that we can get it done.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Karanka. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That wasn't that bad. LaPorte County Highway Department requesting to transfer from major bridge to other for service charges proper invoice $728,448.77.
Yeah, these are all getting rid of our 20200 accounts.
So it's just transferring from one account to the other.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski, second by Mr. Karanka. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Next one is requesting transfer from lead economic development to the same thing, service charge proper invoicing.
Motion
The
approved.
amount of $2.5 million. Motion by Mr. Yagowski,
Second.
second by Mr. Cunningham. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next item is request and transfer from lit economic development miscellaneous claims for service charges for this is the Marquette grant and the Union Mills grant.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yagowski, second by Mr. Rosenbaum. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item is request an additional appropriation from lit economic development Railroad for capital purchase for 2 side rotary mowers in the amount of $338,053.98.
Yeah, these were the motion to support in February. One of the mowers should be ready here at the end of this month. The
We're
other
just
one,
appropriating the money,
yep. the
and it's
other one
coming
next
out of lit economic development.
You can use LRS, it's Highway Department equipment, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whichever one
I
you
haven't
want.
heard that number.
We would advise LRS is a narrower function than lit economic development.
Motion to approve out of LRS.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum.
Thank you, guys. Oh, just FYI.
Thank him yet. We don't even have a second yet. Oh.
Well, come on. Your motion to support it is.
Hey, I'll run the meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Karanka. Any questions?
Roll.
Roll call, Mr. Auditor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Keel.
Aye.
Councilman Mullenhour.
Aye.
Councilman Novak.
Aye.
Councilman Yagelski.
Nay.
Councilman Cunningham.
Nay.
Councilman Rosenbaum.
Aye.
Councilman Karanka.
Aye.
I lost track of the nays because of that.
Only two.
2 nays. 5 ayes.
Now.
Okay, so the truck purchase that we, from last year, that was motion to support. FYI, the chassis might be ready by November. So I might have to come back by November to get the money for those. Just FYI.
For the chassis? Or
Well, the chassis, and then we buy them, we get the titles and everything, then we ship them off to get outfitted, so with the dump and everything else.
Missed something.
So they may be here by November, maybe first of the year, but just FYI.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Next item is LaPorte County Superior 4, request additional appropriation from Riverboat Opioid Restricted for service charges for psychological services in the amount of $5,000.
Motion to approve out of opioid unrestricted.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum, second by Mr. Mullenhour. Is there any questions?
Quick comment. So that'll take us down to about 15,000 in unrestricted.
Okay.
Just point.
We got quite a bit more in the restricted. That would qualify
Oh,
for
does
the
it qualify restricted?
What'd
Then
you say?
I changed-
Wait.
It's not listed
Why,
here.
why does it qual, why does
It's
it
not listed
qualify?
here.
Don't you think psychological?
But it's not
for-
listed.
But I don't know
It's
that
not
it's
listed anywhere.
related to drug or
Then
alcohol.
maybe it's not. Okay.
I'm just not
All
quite
right.
sure.
Play it safe. Unrestricted?
It's also not listed.
Unrestricted. I know, I agree. Yeah. All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Need a call.
Oh, sorry.
May I?
Who?
May I?
Said may I?
You may.
Councilman Rosenbaum.
Aye.
Councilman Yagelski.
Nay.
Councilman Cunningham.
Nay.
Councilman Keel.
Aye.
Councilman Novak.
Aye.
Councilman Karanka.
Aye.
Councilman Mullenhour.
Aye.
5 ayes, 2 nays.
Thank you. Next item is request additional appropriation from opioid restricted for service charges for the Weir Incorporated.
Motion to approve out of opioid restricted.
Motion by Mr. Rosenbaum. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mullenhour. On the question, would you like to come up, Donnie, real quick?
Good evening. My name is Donnie Allison. I'm a national certified peer recovery coach at the Swanson Center. I'm also the founder of Where We All in Recovery Cafe in LaPorte County. I'm also a member of the LaPorte Drug-Free Partnership, and in support of me today is one of the board members of LaPorte Drug-Free Partnership, as well as one of the LaPorte officers, Mr. Dawson, is in support.
Right. And if, I strongly encourage everybody to go by and see what Donnie's doing over at the Evergreen Plaza, and the amount of people that he's getting to attend meetings and the things he's doing. So would you like to just echo?
Thank you, President. I'm Tyra Robinson Walker, Director of Treatment Services at LaPorte County Jail. I just would like to add that if you are able to attend any of the meetings, or just to be able to observe, to do a walkthrough to see what impact Ware is having on LaPorte County, you would be amazed. As you guys know, that a lot of our detainees in LaPorte County Jail are dual diagnosed, and we have a shortage of wraparound support for those that's transitioning back into the community. And Donnie's program has helped many get support and services and recovery access, as well as meals are there. There's actually a clothing place there, a play area for the kids to come until they can actually get into supportive treatment as they await. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to that.
And it's supported by Drug-Free Partnership, Judge Freeman support. I mean, everybody's problem solving, everybody's involved. So, but that, I appreciate it. Any other questions or comments for this?
Comment. Thank you for your service to our community.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's
Those-
just a roll.
Aye.
Roll call.
Oh, roll call, I'm sorry.
Roll call.
You blindsided me on that one.
Sorry. Aye. Oh, I thought you called.
Oh, I'm sorry, you blindsided. Councilman Karanka?
Aye.
Councilman Rosenbaum?
Aye.
Councilman Cunningham?
Nay.
Councilman Yagowski? Councilman Novak?
Aye.
Councilman Molinar?
Aye.
And Councilman Garner?
Garner.
Garner.
Man.
Councilman Keel?
Aye.
5 ayes, 2 nays.
Thank you.
Is Terry coming back? We don't know about it?
Yeah.
What nights and times do you have your meetings?
When do you have your meetings, Donnie? Wednesdays?
We have a Be Happy and Be Brave meeting on Mondays from 6 to 7. Our long day is Wednesdays from 12 to 8. We have a conflict resolution group from 1 to 2. We have a separate men's group from 4 to 5 and a separate women's group from 4 to 5. And we have our basic group from 6:30 to 7. Then we feed. And on Friday evenings, we have an art class from 6 to 8.
Thank you.
Stay busy. Thank you. Any council or attorney comments?
Real quick. I promise this will be quick. I understood the council's vote earlier on the issue with the building, but we had just talked about how much money we have in that, and that building would help out people for sale in that. I think we spent too much money doing what we're doing right now, but that's another conversation. But just as another matter of fact, I've asked for this for 20-some years because it took that long. We got property that's sitting out there by Rolling Prairie that we could sell out. Because a council's assistant, we finally got it cleared to the government that water's free and clear. Because what happened was there was a leak there years ago from our tanks. That property's sitting out there and is not being utilized for anything.
You do know that commissioners turned that into a county park. He was here for a roof on the building.
I thought that was the other building. Okay, so they turned that into a county park. Okay. All right.
So that's.
No, it's just another one of these type of things.
I'm with you 100% on the.
We spent a lot of money on that property, so I'm not saying it doesn't deserve a park, but if you guys know the millions of dollars we spent cleaning that up, that we haven't getting anything back out of it. So, no, I did not know that. It's a shame.
And there were plans. There was talk prior about selling that 8th Street off, and then obviously the complex thing happened. But then there were some negotiations with the previous administration in Michigan City where they were just going to give it away. And I would rather utilize it at this point than to give it away if we could. So
if that was the case, but that's not necessarily the commissioner's choice, I understand.
I agree. So
that's an asset at that point.
Right. Any other questions or comments?
One other quick comment. Oh, go for it,
Adam.
All right. So from being part of the Job Evaluation Committee, it's obvious that we need to be a little bit more organized as a collective what we present to the council to ensure that we understand what it is that we're voting on. Although we also, it could be said that we also know the rules, but making sure that the message is clear both on this board and what the public sees as to what we're approving in terms of these wages. So I'll just do my part to make sure that we straighten that out.
You should also actually provide the new job descriptions to the council, so when they're looking at it, you know that what comment 5 is and what they're going to be doing.
And that was the holdup and why certain things were reevaluated this year, because there were no job descriptions to be had. And so when we finally got job descriptions.
The other thing is for this committee, we need to establish, because there's talk that they all have to be in by June or they all have to be in by July prior to the budget hearing, and then they take effect then, and there's only a certain window of time that you can get evaluated.
Yeah, but Mr. Keel, it's open. You all could go and listen.
No, not who can attend them. I'm saying as far as if a department head wanted to have an employee reevaluated, is it a window of opportunity that's open from June through the end of July? This is the time. If you got an employee, this is when you do it for next year.
Yeah, but it should never be an employee evaluation. It should only be a job.
That's what I said.
I think it's in the salary ordinance.
See, you misunderstood me. It's your interpretation of, no.
President Novak, I think the salary ordinance actually lists out when it can be done.
So, but we it would help to pull that out and put the rules out there so that all the department heads and everybody knows and has a clear picture. Because I've had people come to me and say, hey, I missed it. Can I still? And I'm like, I don't.
We'll pull it out of the salary ordinance and send it to the department heads if you buy your leave, sir.
Whatever, yeah. Send it to me first so I can see it.
Yes.
Right.
Did you have something?
Any other?
I did.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Cunningham.
Two things. Number one, before we drain the ARP fund anymore, I think we have a general consensus here that we commit to the volunteer fire departments. And I would like to have that on the agenda for next month's meeting, that we appropriate out for 25 and 26. I'm going to recommend that we do 15,000 each year rather than mess around with that third check. So we'll be 30,000, but give them two $15,000 checks.
That would free up.
And then last thing, I want to just make sure that we understand.
Other money.
On tonight's agenda, there was a request for $1,363,000 of additional appropriations. We're in August, and if you remember back in February when Mr. Yagelski and I pointed out that it was the earliest we'd ever seen a request for additional money. This is normally when they start coming in. September, October, November, people are running out of money. We've been running out of money since February. And it kind of makes you sit back and think, why are we even budgeting when so much additional money is being supplemented to the budget? We have to do it for state purposes, but I just think that we have to be very, very careful what we're doing.
I agree. Mr. Rosenbaum.
I'd like to add that we should have actually a workshop for the ARP funds, because there are many projects being talked about currently in the county, and we cannot afford all of those projects. So I think we need to get focused, and I also think we need to. I don't know if we should direct our attorney to send letters to two groups that we have committed $1.5 million to see if they're going to be used.
Redevelopment's already.
Redevelopment is doing it?
Are we talking about 35 and?
Yep.
Redevelopment and regional sewer.
Well, I'm working on regional
Right.
sewer. They're going to be here next month. They
And
got their funding from
I'm
the
working
state.
on the other one. They know that they're going to lose their opportunity if they don't do something, so.
Yeah, and then even some of our internal projects that I've been talking about, if we don't have it committed, or we don't have blueprints and we don't have all our ducks in a row, we've been talking to some of these people for a while, including the commissioners, then we risk not being able to do those projects. So there's been pressure on different people to get things done, and I'm just not seeing the progress.
Remember, the commissioners have to approve any.
As I said, when you talk about a meeting, it's commissioners, got to give it to us. I don't know what we're going to a meeting for. I understand your idea is, Mike, but seriously.
We need to have you need to have.
Well, then we try to do a joint meeting or something.
Tell the commission, come to our meeting regularly.
We will. All right, Adam?
I'm good.
Mike?
Nothing, thank
Motion
you.
to adjourn.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hey.
That sewer one.